Hi, my name is Nancy, and I'm starting to do some videos on a YouTube channel, and my focus will be mainly tarot, but also books, literature, books on tarot. So I'm hoping I can give my perspective that might appeal to some of you. I know there's lots of channels out there, so I very much appreciate you listening to this. I wanted to start this video out with talking about my incredible holiday grab for tarot decks. My wonderful husband during this pandemic has found decks for my holiday gifts that are amazing. I started tarot about a little over a year and a half ago, and so I started with the mass market decks. I bought a tarot deck at a metaphysical bookstore in town, thinking, well, I'm sort of semi-retiring. I want something to keep my mind busy. I want to learn a system. I want to learn something. It could be a language, it could be a musical instrument, whatever. But I saw the tarot deck and I said, well, I can learn that. So I did, and then I found all these incredible decks out there, but I started with Amazon. I started with mass market decks, so I acquired a lot of those. This year, 2020, is really the year when I started to get into much more of a variety of decks, independent decks that were really better quality in production and more interesting art and so forth. So I also think the pandemic made me sort of sit here and say, well, what'll I do to keep myself amused? I'm not going out to eat. I'm not going to concerts. I'm not doing anything with my money. So I'll spend it on decks. So I did. But my husband's gifts for the holidays outdid everything. So I wanted to share those with you and tell you why I like them, so you can get to know me and what it is about decks that appeals to me and what my taste is. So starting out, he gave me this incredible deck that I know many of you have appreciated, but it's the Corte de Tarocchi from Il Meneghello, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is beautiful art paper, and it is the most beautiful color palette. I love the color palette of this, soft, and the art somewhat primitive, Marseille style deck with pips, and the cardstock. Okay, so first of all, I love tarot for the art, so the artwork appealed to me. I love the cardstock. When I get good cardstock, it makes me really happy because it's a very tactile experience to me to hold a tarot deck. This is art paper, and it scares me a little to touch it, to move it, around. I don't want to bend it or break it, but just feeling it is amazing. It's an amazing experience. So this deck appeals to me on those levels, art and cardstock. But also, I love the size, this tall format for the cards. First, it fits really well in my hands. I have small hands, so I can just wrap my hand around it. It feels great. So, I mean, look at that image. It's just so beautiful. Just so beautifully done, and soft, wonderful colors. So I love this deck, and when my husband gave it to me, it was like, wow, you found it, because I'd mentioned to him probably in the summer and said, if you want to get me something for the holidays, this deck is one I'm having trouble getting. I see it, I love it, and I look for it. It's out of stock. I look for it somewhere else, it's out of stock. I look for it somewhere, it sends me to another site that says, will be coming out soon. And I said, okay, could you keep an eye on that and try and find it for me? It would be really great. And he did. He's wonderful. So that's the first deck I got for the holidays, which I think he gave me in Thanksgiving, mainly because he got it for Christmas and he can't wait to give presents. He's like, do you want it now? Do you want it now? It's August. It's like, no, honey, hold it till Christmas. So anyway, another gift for the holidays came Christmas Eve. I believe. And this was a deck that I saw and really liked and wanted to get, and it was on Amazon France, and it was like $39 or 39 euros, and I could just order it with my Amazon account and so on, and it was $10 shipping. It was ridiculous, and I hesitated and I didn't get it, and I was like, it's a Marseille deck. I wasn't too into Marseille at that point, and do I really need another deck? And maybe I was like between paychecks at that point, and said, I don't really need it. I like it, but you know. So a few months later, I'm looking, after I'd mentioned to him that I thought about getting, but I didn't. A few months later, I look and it's not available anymore. And a few months later, just before Christmas, I look again because I see it on someone's, favorite of the year video. And it's out of stock, and the cheapest one you can get is $110. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll never have that one. And come Christmas morning, and I open a package. It's been sitting on the windowsill wrapped up, and I thought, well, it's going to be a tarot deck. It looks like a tarot deck. And I opened up and I go, oh my God, you found Le Tarot Noir, which is upside down. Le Tarot Noir is this wonderful Marseille-style deck. Look at the colors on this. Look at the artwork. Absolutely gorgeous. The backs are beautiful. The art, the people, I love the people on this deck. I'm looking around to see it. Little faces that are so expressive. Tiny hands. The horse has character. The horse has personality. I love it. And it's a huge card. The cardstock is really nice, but kind of cardboardy, laminated cardboardy, but high quality, not flimsy whatsoever. But it's different from other, obviously from the Carte de Tarot, which is art paper, but good quality art stock, nice backs, beautiful art. These are my main things with decks that I really need to have. And the color palette on this, just like Carte de Tarot, the color palette is this beautiful sort of autumnal. This artist knows how to draw folds and gowns. Every card that has any kind of gown, look at it. Look at the Hermit. His robes are so beautiful. The folds have different tones of this brownish, burgundy, orange colors, gold colors. So I flipped. I was like, wow, you found this deck for me, and it's beautiful. So I'm learning to use Marseille. I'm getting better. I have to give thanks to people like Tom Benjamin, who really helps you understand how the numerology and the elements come together to give you meaning to the cards, and just to appreciate the art on the pip cards, because in the Marseille deck, they're just so beautiful. So that's the first two decks. Now, the next thing he did, I had mentioned that I'd heard somebody talking about the fact that Baba Studio was not going to be producing tarot cards after a few more years, and I didn't have any of their decks. Their decks are like $100, $95, whatever. And so I had never splurged that high on a deck. I'd been doing 60, 65 maybe. So I hadn't. And I mentioned to him that they were going out of print. They were not going to be producing tarot decks anymore. And I said, that's a good investment, honey. You're good with money. I'm not. You understand money. That's a good investment. So if you're thinking of things for Christmas, Baba Studios. Well, Christmas morning, my sweet dear husband gave me 2 Baba Studios decks. And I got the Fantastic Menagerie and the Mythical Creatures. And they are gorgeous. You can see it when I hold them back like this, the beautiful cold stamping effect on it. that just gives a really beautiful sheen to the artwork. The cardstock on this is fascinating to me. I think I've heard other people say that. It's cardboardy, but it's not cheap cardboardy. It's flexible, but it's sturdy. You can tell the production quality on it is really great. And the card backs are beautiful. Look at those card backs. Gorgeous. The colors in this, as well as the sheen of the cold stamping. Beautiful. Beautiful decks. The artwork. This is J.J. Granville, a French illustrator, who has these quirky, animal, odd characters. And I like quirky. If I had to add another thing to what I love in tarot decks, it would be quirky. I like quirky images. So that was the third deck he got me. And the fourth deck is the Mythical Creatures Tarot from Baba Studios. Again, beautiful card backs. Same cardstock. Beautiful images. This one with the borders, different colors and creatures in the borders. It really uses borders in a way that I've never seen decks do. Look at that. Isn't she beautiful? I can move her closer. The High Priestess. Amazing. And again, it has that little sheen on the card. They're matte, but it has that little sheen and beautiful cardstock. So I just wanted to take the time to introduce these wonderful gifts I got this year and kind of show you what I like in decks. Again, the cardstock, the art, the quirkiness. They're, to me, works of art that you can hold in your hand. And I've learned the system to some extent, and I realize I'll spend another 20 years really learning it. I don't get a lot of chance to read for other people, so I do little readings for myself. But I'm in it for the art. I'm in it for the time I can take to look at a card and think, okay, what area of my life would that reflect, and how can I reflect on that during my day? Because being an Aquarius, I'm like speedy, my mind keeps going, I don't stop for things. This makes me stop, look at the card, appreciate the art, and think, okay, what about that area of my life today? What am I doing to tend that, to move that forward? It's kind of interesting to think about and slow down and appreciate. So that's why I like tarot. That's what I do with tarot. I don't really have a spiritual connotation to tarot, but I love the decks. They're wonderful. So I've watched lots of you on YouTube doing decks, doing videos on decks and various aspects of tarot. Thank you for that, because you've helped educate me over the last year and a half or so. And I appreciate you watching me. I'll see what other videos I come up with. There's a lot to enjoy in the world of tarot. So thank you. Happy New Year. Bye, everyone.